Hello and welcome to the learnviaelearn.com classes. So in today's class we will see about what is queue. We have already seen stack, we have seen some quick sort algorithm along with their program. In the same pattern we will see about what is queue basically, and then we will see about what are the general basic queue operations, right? And then we will see how queue is different from our stack. All right, and then as usual, as we have seen in our stack, we have gone through with algorithm and then followed by the program for that particular queue. Okay, we will follow the same algorithm on which we are going to write a program. Okay, so let's get started. So about let's get started with what is queue basically. Team, if I say I'm very much sure everyone know the basic understanding of what is queue. Let's say for example, this is I'm going to draw a bus stop for example. This is just a very rough idea about uh, queue. I'm just want to explain few more things what generally we thought about queue. Suppose this is a bus stand. Oops, just a second. Uh, let's say this is a bus stand, and people used to catch a bus through this path. So for which they have to make a queue. Okay, this is a queue. So what happens here? Suppose this is a place where bus used to stop. Let me write it here as a bus. I just want to understand you about a few more things apart from what we know about queue. So what happened? The passenger or all those people who want to travel in bus have to come from this side. Oh, just a second. Yeah, have to travel from, let me change the color also so that it will give you a more understanding. Yeah, so all those person who need to travel through bus have to come from this side, and all those person who are in the front of the queue only allowed to travel or go inside the bus. Team, it is not possible. See, ideally, I mean, I don't know, people may travel uh, while standing while going directly in the front of the queue, but ideally I'm talking about early, it's not possible if any person go from here, stand in the queue and directly go to the bus. It's absolutely not possible. So what happen ideally, people always need to travel, always need to go into the queue from one side and come out of the queue through other side. Okay, this is a basic understanding, or the basic thing what actually we I mean the first thing which comes in our mind when we say queue. Now in data structure we consider, or we used to say this part as a back, or we can also say in queue. ENQUEQE. All right, and this part what we used to say this is my front part, or we can say it is DQ. D. Now, why we are saying DQ and NQ here? Because from this side, Q is actually making from this side only, from the back part, and we are removing those elements from the front part. That's why we are saying it as an DQ. All right. These are the some basic terms we use frequently while we going forward with Q. So we need to understand about what is Q, what is NQ, and then what is DQ. These are the some basic understanding we need to know for Q. All right. So let's talk about some technical terms, or technically what we use to uh, say about Q. So in computer science, or you can say in data structure, what is Q? A Q I'm sorry, let me change the color to, let's say, blue. Okay, so a Q is a particular kind of abstract data type, or collection in which the entities in the collection are kept in order. As we have seen, we are keeping all these entities, all these elements, or all the peoples in, let's say in our case, in case of our bus stand, we are collecting all the entities in a particular order, and we have some Q operators here also, which is number one is what we have is NQ, and number two is DQ. Okay, so what is NQ here? If I say, as I have already explained, let me uh, explain you the exact definition, or what actually we say in technical terms. In NQ, item get inserted at the back of the queue. Okay, so what we say in NQ, item get inserted from the back of the queue, or the operations on the collections are addition of entity to the rear terminal position, known as in queue. Means all the operations, right, which are adding from the rear terminal of the positions are called as NQ. So let me write that also. the operations on the collection or the addition of entities to the rear terminal position known as NQ. Alright. So all the operations which are going from back of the queue is called as an NQ in simple word I would say. Now what is DQ? Let me change the color. Oh, I don't know if okay, now let me change in this leave it. So what is DQ? DQ is removing of the item from the queue from the front end is called as DQ. Okay, so what is DQ? Removal of item, or I can say entities from the front terminal position is known as DQ. Alright, and now the very interesting point is coming. This makes the generation of a queue which is called as FIFO. FIFO. The full form is first in, first out. Okay, so this makes this NQ and DQ generate the concept of FIFO, or first in first out in data structure. Oops, let me correct it. This should be in. Alright, so first in first out. So what is first in first out here? In a data structure, the first element added to the queue I don't know why it is not writing. Added to the oops, I don't know what's happening now. Let me try to write here. I don't know why it is not writing. So what is FIFO? FIFO is basically in a data structure, as I said. Let me write in this way. Uh, data structure, the first element which has been inserted or added to the queue will be the first one to be removed. I don't know, again it's not writing in first one to okay to be removed means as we have seen in this case, the first person who is entered from here is eligible to you know get out from this queue first. Alright, it's absolutely not possible that if the second person or third person entered and I'm sorry, they get out from this queue. So always the first person who has been in queue from the back must be DQ from the front. Alright, so this is the basic concepts of queue, in queue, DQ and FIFO terminology. So in short, if I again explain you the complete thing, so what is queue, what is a queue and what are their operations? So in queue we have two main operations. One is called as in queue and another is called as DQ, in which insertion in a queue is done using in queue function and removal of the queue is done using DQ function. Okay, an item can be inserted at the end, which is rear of the queue, and removal of the item should be from the front end. And that's why it is called as a FIFO. Okay, so this is the complete A to Z explanation of what is queue and what are their operations. Alright, so we have done with what is queue, what are the queue operations. Alright, now see how queue is different from the stack, and then we will see the basic algorithm of the queue, and then we will implement the program of that particular algorithm what we have discussed. See the basic difference the basic difference between the queue and a stack is queue follows FIFO and stack follows LIFO. Means in queue we have, as we have seen, we have FIFO. First in, the element which is entered first must be goes out as in the first element. However, in stack we have a LIFO, which is last in first out. Means remember I have explained you the example of a vessel where I'm sorry, I don't know what's happening in my throat. I'm so sorry for disturbing. Remember I have explained you an example of a vessel where we insert the element from the top, and the element which has been inserted first will be goes out in the last. So in that case we have a LIFO. Means last in first out. That is, if I have inserted suppose 3 element, so the third element which has been inserted in the last or in the end will be, you know, DQ, or in terms of stack, if I say, if the last element which has been pulled out will be the first element. Okay, so this is a basic difference between stack and queue. A stack follows LIFO, which is last in first out, and queue follows FIFO, which is first in first out. All right, now let's see the algorithm of queue. Okay, I'm sorry, this should be queue, not sort. Actually, I have used the same PPT what I have made for quick sort. That's the reason is showing quick sort. Now, what is now how we are going to implement this queue? Okay, for that we need to understand the algorithm